Being feminine in a difficult and toxic environment is a huge ask for the modern woman. We live in a world that is trouble, a world that is in transition, and every transition always feels super messy. We live with people that we cannot avoid, who have their own trauma and their own wounds, and often play out their internal stories in our stories. And so it is very difficult for the modern woman who no longer stays at home and takes care of the children who are smaller than her to really maintain her feminine energy. And we know that we will definitely run into masculine and lean heavily into our masculine energy when our environment does not promote safety, security, peace, and comfort. So, how on earth do we become or stay feminine in a toxic environment? That's today's video. And stay tuned because I will definitely see you after this. Hello and welcome back to the Black Swan Relationship Academy. My name is Chengi. I am your dating and relationship expert, founder of the Black Swan Relationship Academy. And my coaches and I are here to teach you ladies how to present as a high value, high status, and high worth woman that high quality men find completely and absolutely irresistible. If that sounds like you are absolutely on the right channel. Now, let's get into today's video. We cannot heal in an environment that makes us sick, right? Well, this is principally true en masse. However, we can learn to incubate ourselves, to protect ourselves so we can grow in that environment. Because sometimes we don't have a choice. Sometimes we can pack up and leave, but often, due to circumstances, we're not in a position to do so. And you may be that girl watching this today who is not in a position to do so. For instance, you are a young lady living with your parents and your environment isn't safe. Maybe your parents have a tumultuous relationship or they're emotionally abusive towards you in one way or another. We know that as women, we're more likely to go into our masculine and remain there in order to stay safe. What are you looking for? What do you bring to the table? Here's my number, he says on the dating app, and you have to figure out what you're going to do with that. What do you say when you really like him and want to be unforgettable on the app, at the party, in the moment? What do you say to set boundaries and standards in a high value, sassy, sexy way and still be taken seriously? What if I told you that we have created a 20-page downloadable PDF full of Black Swan scripts with exactly what to say to him for the unforgettable woman, and it's available now? And if that wasn't enough, what if I told you that I'm giving away a free sample script version that you can use immediately for free? To get both the free version or full version, all you have to do is follow the link in my bio and become unforgettable. You see, the feminine needs to feel safe and secure to not only be in her feminine, but to stay there long enough to benefit from the results of being in her feminine. We understand that this is necessary for her to thrive, to survive, but not to thrive. The masculine is our strength and shield and necessary for survival. And our feminine is the portal that we experience freedom and rest. When we find ourselves in toxic environments, it begins to feel impossible to be in our feminine. Perhaps it's our work, your job, the environment at work that presents constant and consistent danger emotionally, physically, spiritually, or otherwise. But you absolutely need it to survive, and leaving isn't an option. what do? We take our lessons from medical staff who work with infected and infectious people and environments. They have to be in that environment to do their job, but they follow protocols, wear particular protective clothing, have strict regimens to protect them from getting infected. Some may still catch a thing or two, but by and large, they remain safe. We can learn to do this for ourselves internally. We can create an emotional barrier to the external world. This is not about adopting armor, a shield that keeps people out, a wall that some of us already have to pull down in order for us to access our feminine. But I'm talking about the ability to adopt new habits, disciplines, and protocols to keep the outside toxic world out and the inside world that is healing and being healed safe long enough for it to do so, and to be able to access and get into our divine feminine and stay there long enough, for as long as it is relevant and necessary, and especially when we are ready for romance and love with a masculine man. We have to leave our balls at the office or in the difficult environment, as Dr. Pat Allen often says. Love that. Let's look into some solutions. Black swans give themselves the right to get into masculine energy for protection, but intentionally, we create moments in our day to be present in our bodies, to breathe, and go within to process our emotional state at the time. We will learn more about this in the Emotional Mastery Masterclass, and the link will be in the description box below. Going inward and becoming acquainted with your regular emotional cycles whilst in this environment and what often triggers them. So you want to understand the cycles in your environment and all the things that trigger those cycles. How do those cycles start? What often happens or precipitates a cycle of toxicity within your environment? Number 2, once you have successfully made that assessment by journaling the times these things happen, the occasions these things happen, the thoughts that you have in those moments and the feelings and the triggers, we can go ahead and make a plan for how we will handle these challenges when they arise. Very often in any environment, there are patterns and rhythms that are actually predictable if you are paying attention. If it is your family, your parents, your boss, your friends, your colleagues, then they will fall out at certain times for certain reasons quite predictably. Or things will happen daily that happen quite predictably if you're paying attention to patterns. If it's at work, your colleagues or boss will have similar patterns. If you are not aware of them, it's because you don't record them. Many of us don't monitor our world, thus it feels more chaotic than it actually is. Put together a game plan, for instance. When so-and-so and this begins to happen, starts to feel like it's gonna happen, I'm gonna change the energy in the room by maybe saying a joke, or playing some music, or offering something light. And if that's not relevant, I'm gonna excuse myself the moment the pattern is about to begin, or the moment I identify the energy of that pattern. If you cannot leave, take a breather. Then be conscious of your breath. When you are stressed, when we are stressed and in survival mode, we often forget to breathe. We take shallow breaths, which sends our body into higher levels of stress, which can completely blur our perspective of the situation. The previous 2 should be possible for most situations. But if it is a slow burn and an atmospheric situation, and it says, is in a long, sort of boring day with nothing but challenges, then take a break. Take specific times to do something you enjoy. Move your body. To move your body is to move your energy, because the feminine energy dwells within the body. And sometimes the trauma is stuck in the body. In fact, all times, all trauma is in the body too. So when you start to feel some kind of way, sometimes we get into freeze mode. Sometimes we're frozen. It's important to move your body, find somewhere to walk to, go to the water fountain, do something with your feet, move your fingers around, move your body around in that moment. Number 4, mind your mind. The most dangerous thing in toxic situations are the thoughts we think and the meaning we're putting on these things that happen to us or around us. It is important to create some emotional and energetic space between you and things happening in your environment. Try to remember that it is not about you. You may very well be included by virtue of your presence, but understand that it is not about you. It is about the person or persons doing what they think work for them and being wrapped up in their pain, chaos, or drama. It is important to see yourself as separate from it and the behavior of others. Let's remember that everybody is living out their narrative, their story, their interpretations, and most of the time, it really has very little to do with you. At best, your behavior, your words, or maybe your attitude has triggered a long-standing story in them. When we learn not to take things so personally by understanding that we are all working something out, and sometimes our stories clash and they come together and they don't always make sense, but somebody has got to be the conscious one. Number 5, when you are not in a toxic environment, fill your tank by having robust rituals and protocols. I spoke about some of them on the Bishop R.C. Blake's channel called Feminine Rituals to practice daily. Go watch that for more step-by-step tips. But in this video, I want to give you a principle. Just like a surgeon washes his hands or her hands before and after exposing themselves to a toxic environment, we have to be careful what we do when we wake up and what we do before we go to sleep. How we start and finish our day is crucial to how we will face, affect, and influence our environment. And this is the last and most important piece. You are an energy too, and being in the right frame of mind can tip the energy balance in any environment. Have you ever met that person when the party isn't that exciting, but you know that if you invite so-and-so, she's going to walk into the room and all of a sudden the room becomes more glamorous, a bit more exciting, the energy shifts. Or perhaps so-and-so comes in and the way they smile and the way they laugh and the energy they bring just gets the party started. Or somebody who walks into the room and they're a real Debbie Downer. Everybody was having a good time until she walked into the room. That is because we are environments, and depending on how conscious we are and how intentional we are and how mindful we are, we can literally shift the environment in our homes, because often others are reacting to our energy and it's this reactive space. But when we come in as a different environment, a balanced environment, an environment that we love to live in and share with others, it begins to change the dynamic of how the energy is moving. We are all walking, talking, breathing environments, and our consciousness of that and the environment, we can change the culture and the game in any environment, because we will be the most alert, awake, conscious in the room. Many humans sleepwalk through life with their chaotic emotions running the show because they simply have not developed emotional mastery, making it so that they abdicate responsibility for the life they create and the environment they bring into the room, making it such that they have no internal power. They're victims of their own making or the making of others, puppets of higher forces, if you will. To be a higher force, in fact, is to be truly conscious and conscientious of our own energy. We can learn more about this in the monster course I developed in the beginning of this year, which you can access in the Black Swan Relationship Academy. All you have to do is go to blackswanrelationshipacademy.com, and under Academy, you can view the courses. This course is called the Energy Mastery Masterclass. And finally, get some professional to co-regulate with, speak to, offload to, who can give you tools that are specific to you. Get a therapist, a counselor, or go right ahead right now and book yourself a call with one of the coaches at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. We are ready to help you manage whatever you're going through and coach you into your highest and most divine feminine energy, so that you can magnetize and you can attract the love and the life that you crave and deserve. Thank you so much for watching. I want to invite you to go to your favorite podcast handle and listen to the Black Swan Life podcast, where we talk all things money, health, well-being, love, and everything pertaining to life. The Black Swan Life is really about an extraordinary, amazing life. And I'm inviting you to join me, my coaches, and our guests as we go deeper into this season's conversation about unlearning. What are the things we need to unlearn? Before we learn anything new, we have to sometimes tear something down. And so we'll be discussing many things that we've had to unlearn, and it's gonna be amazing. So do go to your nearest podcast and watch and listen as you drive and get on with your daily life, because I would love to have you there. In the meantime, my darlings, do take care of you. Love you lots. Bye-bye now. Well done for coming to the end of this video. What I want to ask you is, what have you learned? What is your takeaway? And what are you going to start practicing right away? Those three things are how you are going to get the best out of every class here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. Please put it in the comments so that we can all have a look. So I can have a look, the coaches can have a look. And I promise you, we read every comment. We may not be able to reply to every comment, but we read all of your comments and we want to see how you are growing. And we will see you on the next video.